Hello everyone, I'm Danielle from Cageless Readings. So today's pick a card topic, we are going to be looking at what is the next chapter for this relationship. And I don't want you to feel like it has to be a romantic relationship. It could be a friendship, it could be family relationships, it could be co-workers, really it could be anyone. I just feel like we often have questions if we're having like where's our next chapter, where are we going, like what's the next exciting thing that we're gonna be doing together. It could even be business partners, whatever it is. So I did want this to be more or less a positive reading because I was just feeling such good energies around this. I felt like things were looking up. There's been a lot of heavy shifts lately, lots of transitions and transformations in the world right now. So a lot of people releasing and growing. So I just felt like if there was ever going to be a time to do a reading on a new chapter, this would be it. So I have a nice big chunk of raw rose quartz here, and you can actually appreciate how cute this one is. I just got it yesterday, so I feel like I have to show it off a little bit. It is a rose quartz tree on an amethyst geode, and it's just so cute. I'm so happy about this. It's like I've been looking for a tree for so long, and I like them, but they've always looked really dainty to me. But this one's handmade from Brazil, and they've like even put like a fake tree trunk looking thing on it. So I don't know, I just think it's so cute. So I had to put it in this card reading because I feel like the energy coming off of it is just so wonderful. So I hope you can feel that from wherever you are coming from. Okay, so we have 3 piles to choose from. Each card pile you have to choose from has 3 different decks in them. Pile 1, the one that's on the top here, is the unicorn deck. Sorry, it's called Magical Unicorns Oracle Cards. Got to make it sound a little fancier. And I just always think it's a cute little picture of the unicorn. This one, pile 2, has the Angels and Auras card deck on top. I just think the artwork's so beautiful, so I had to put it on top for one of the piles. And pile 3 is the magical messages from the fairies. Funny enough, I think I used these 2 piles for last week, but I don't know, I was just feeling really called to put them on top again, so that's why they're there. And who knows, some of you might not have watched last week's card reading, so you might not even notice that. Okay, so as always, this is a point in the card reading where I'll give you some time to ground yourself so you can get reconnected with your intuition, with your higher self. You do that by just taking a few deep breaths and feeling more grounded and centered in your body. So the idea is that you drop your awareness from being in your mind and chaotic and thinking about all those lists to dropping it down and focusing on your heart energy so that you can see if one of these piles does have a message for you. And if you're not drawn to one of them, don't sweat it. There is so many pick a cards out there. I'm sure you'll find one that has a message specifically for you. Okay, I'll see you all in your card readings. Hello, pile 1. You've got a lot of cat butts in your pile today. Isn't that, oh, now you have a cute head. Well, that's much better. 2 cute heads. Okay, so let's take a look at what the next chapter is in the relationship you're inquiring about. Hey, don't chew on my new tree. Okay, we'll just get these guys some snacks and maybe they'll get out of our hair a little bit. Here, Not chewing on this. No. No to chew. That's right. Okay. So now that they are gone, let's actually take a look at your cards. So you have Imagine, Worth Waiting For, Best Friends, Divine Guidance, Blocks Lifted, Share Your Art with the World, Journaling, Healer. Can you see these ones? I'll put them over here a little bit. Angels Are Watching Over You, Have Confidence. So funny. Uriel Gold and Michael Blue. I feel like I just used all these cards in a recent reading, so that's kind of funny. Okay, anyways, we will just go like that. I think you can see the majority of the cards. I'll repile one. So I actually think your question was more worded as, what's the next chapter in my future friendships? Because this feels like a manifestation that you're working on. Because I see Imagine, Worth Waiting For, Blocks Lifted, Journaling, Healing, Having Confidence, Calling in New People. So it really feels like the next chapter for this pile one is looking for better friendships in their life, more supportive friendships. And there's so much here about healing past blocks with friends. So I would see it as calling in more supportive friendships and healing the wound that you may have gotten from your past ones. So this could look like a sisterhood wound or a brotherhood wound, depending on whichever friendships or gender sort of hurt you the most. Like maybe your best friend in the past was a female, then you might have a sisterhood wound. If you had a best friend that was a male and they really hurt you, then you might have a brotherhood wound. And that's basically how that one works. So yeah, so it's interesting. I am gonna probably jump around a little bit here. So the journaling and share your art with the world, these two cards feel like advice cards for how to help release and heal the wound that you've had from your friendships. So journaling, I see that just as a great way to release how you're feeling, let it out, get it out there, vent. But you're not just venting to ramble and make yourself more frustrated. You're venting to get to the bottom of how it made you feel and releasing that. So when I see this type of journaling, I think it's actually very important to burn, rip up, basically destroy whatever it is that you let out, because it's almost like, why would you, like, if you're releasing all that negative emotion and how you felt, why would you want to reread that and feel like that again? So don't hang on to it for that reason. Release it. Say, I'm done with this. I'm never going to feel this way. And I wrote this down to release that emotion. It's not meant to stay around. Share your art with the world. This doesn't literally need to be art, but share your skills and talents with the world. Share what you're passionate about. So this tells me that this pile, you are all gifted in something. And I don't think your previous friendships made you feel very supported or like you were very good at it. Like maybe they would put you down. Maybe they would make you feel unworthy. And this is just saying, like, get out of that. Put yourself out there. Share your gifts. Share your talents. And it says it's a time to allow others to enjoy your creative work, but I also think it's a good way to show others who you really are. And then when you're coming from that like authenticity, you're going to find these other friendships that are also authentic and people are being honest about what they're doing and what they're passionate about. And this is the kind of friendships that I think you want in your future. People who also inspire you and make you want to keep growing. Yeah, I don't know, like you want almost like inspiration from your friends and that you can just build on top of each other. Yeah. Okay. Other things, blocks lifted. So this is just a little confirmation for this pile. If you just keep thinking like, it's not coming in, I don't know, what if I'm going to have no friends and I get lonely? This is just saying, don't worry. Like, your path is clearing. Previous obstacles came from fear and they are now lifted away. So it's saying, don't fear being alone. There's billions of people on this earth. There's people like you out there, people who are passionate and see the world the same way you do, who are also looking for friends like you are and want relationships like you do. So don't worry about it. Things are coming in. And then I even think the have confidence card is really great for this too, because it's also talking about like, what's it called? Just like putting yourself out there and not being scared or shy or being like, people won't like me. Just trust that you're an awesome person and the people that you vibe with will vibe with you and you'll find them. And just being real. And there also is like a balance thing here. So for some of you, okay, it's interesting. They're actually saying like some of you might focus too much on how you're going to get friends and not enough just on what you like to do, doing the things you like to do and not waiting until you have like a best friend to do them with. Just start doing them now. And also prioritizing like your own fun activities and doing the things you enjoy to work. So it's also talking about a work-life balance, like a work and have fun balance. Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. Let's see what else is going here. A few other things going on. I don't know why I'm like, I feel like I gotta make this tree slightly different. There we go. Maybe my cat just squished it funny and I wasn't liking it or something. Okay. Anywho, next thing on here to discuss. So the other thing too with this have confidence card, I couldn't stop looking at her purple dress here. And I just wonder if it's saying like, you've been asking for where you can meet these friends, where you can go, how do you find people who are aligned with you? And the fact that she's just in purple just tells me that you're getting little like senses, like little, maybe I should go try that, or maybe I should do this activity, or maybe I should go to this class. And I think you might not always be following them. And this is saying like, go for it. You're getting a lot of ideas from your guides, from your higher self, on where you can meet these people. And just trust that you're going to meet the right people and they're going to come into your life, and just know that is in your life. That is coming for you, those better relationships. So that's also being cemented by this divine guidance card where it says the ideas you are receiving are heavenly sent answers to your prayers. So it's really saying like, sorry, Toby, please don't jump up there. It's really talking about clearing old people, clearing old habits, clearing old wounds, and now you're going to be finding new people. It's just so much is talking about how you're healing out this old style of relationship and you're coming into something new. I also like how this says best friends. True friends stick together no matter what. And that might be a confirmation for some of you where some of your friends, like you went through a hard time and they would not be there for you, or they'd be like, well, talk to me when you're nicer, or talk to me when you're not in a bad mood and you're like, just went through a really hard thing. For someone here, I think it's like, I just got fired from my job. What do you mean I need to cheer up or just not be such a downer? Like, I don't know. That's very specific for someone. I think somebody had a friend say that, which is not a very good friend. And then worth waiting for is just remembering, if you've been feeling a little lonely, don't go back and start hanging out with those friends if you severed ties, because you did it for a reason. And if they weren't supportive, then they're not going to be the type of friendships that really make you feel good or you really want to grow with. And then the Imagine card, it's like you can have whatever kind of friendship you want. You can have as many friends if you want. They can be as weird or as normal as you want them to be, but like, don't think that a friendship has to be a certain way. Don't limit it. And another thing I keep thinking of is it's almost like the friendship, you don't know if it's multiple friendships or a main one you were looking at that you recently disconnected from, but I feel like it feels like a sliver. That's like an analogy I could give it, where you think about it a lot, and every time you think you're done with it, it like draws your attention back, and then you remember that you don't really want it to be there, but you can't really let it go. You can't really get it out like a sliver. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, there's like a piece of it that's still stuck with you or something like that. They keep saying it like a sliver, so hopefully that makes sense. And then here it says, you have the power to heal and help others heal. And I think some of you might just need to hear this because of the wound that these friendships might have left behind. Like, know that you are strong enough to go through this and come out better and brighter on the other side. Sorry, my cat keeps doing bad boy things. Okay. Yeah, so it's just really a confirmation and a reminder to know that you can overcome anything. And even though something hurts right now, or there was a big wound there, don't let that stop you from experiencing something beautiful and wonderful in the future. And I even feel like you will probably end up making friends with someone else who also was hurt by their friendships. And I think it will be really correlated with the sisterhood wound or brotherhood wound. I think someone else is going to be able to relate with you to that. And that might even be what starts to make you talk and collaborate or build a friendship. Is just having this point in common that you've been hurt by the brotherhood or the sisterhood relationship. Yeah, I'm trying to see what else there is here. So I haven't really talked about these cards. Actually, I want to talk about this one first. It says, angels are watching over you, supported, protected, loved, and encouraged. So I think you could be feeling a little tired of these patterns coming through for friendships and meeting new people and then feeling the same way or seeing the same red flags come through. And it's just a little thing here saying, like, don't worry, you're supported and protected, and your angels are encouraging you to keep trying to build these deeper friendships with the right people who are aligned with you. And they are going to come in. It's just like they're saying divine timing is a matter of time. And you'll be at a frequency, you'll be aligned within yourself that other people who align with that will find you. And these two cards are so interesting. So honesty, observant, and trustworthy. So I feel like this is even talking a little bit about putting out there what you want to get back. And it doesn't mean being overly honest and vulnerable with new people, because that's a little too much. That's a little too much to put on some new friends, but it's just like observe, see if there's any red flags, see if they're aligned with you. Like, don't have to jump into the relationship all in that one moment. Like, let it build and harmonize. And yeah, like I like how it's like saying it's like a storybook. There's different chapters, and it takes a little bit to get into the interesting part of the story. But then eventually it does get really interesting. The first chapter might be a little boring, and I don't know. I even think about that with relationships. If you're on a first date, the first date might not be everything all in that first date, but after a few dates, you might realize that this person is like really exciting and really aligned with you. So it's like giving people a chance, but also observing and making sure and making a wise decision on whether or not they're worth investing all your time in or much of your time in. I hope that makes sense. Not judging too soon, but not giving them too many chances if they're proving to have those red flags. There we go. That's, I think, what I'm trying to say. And then this Uriel Gold's passion, entrepreneur driven. It's funny because I keep getting that some of you have made a list about what you want to see in a friend, and they're saying that's a good start. To know, like, you want friends who have similar values or morals, who like maybe a certain thing that you're crazy passionate about. Maybe they have the same spiritual beliefs or religious beliefs as you, or maybe they just love doing the same physical activity or hobby as you. I don't know, but it is good to have that list just to know, like, what do you want in a friend? What are the common things you want to be able to do with them? And doesn't mean they have to fit in all those boxes, but say if you do a sport, then it'd be amazing to do that sport with them if they're aligned in morals and values. I feel like you guys get this, but yeah. I think for you, it's though making sure that they enjoy doing the same hobbies as you. So whether that's a physical like sport or activity, or it could be they're in the similar job field or in a similar hobby. Like if you're an artist, being friends with artists could be really fun. If you're a photographer, for example, you might want to have another photographer friend who will just go and do and talk about that all day with you. Yeah. Or if you're like in the spiritual world, maybe you want other people who want to talk about the spiritual realm. So yeah, you know what I mean? People you can actually have passionate conversations with and enjoy an activity with, because then you'll have a lot of ground to build relationship on. Yeah, I'm trying to see. So I guess just to really come full circle with this, I feel like the next chapter for you and your future friendships are finding people that you want to spend time with, and you're like excited to just like nerd out on whatever it is you're both passionate about, or go and do this activity together. And maybe it involves getting up really early, and you know, like if someone isn't interested in it, they're not going to do it with you. And that might have been the previous problem you had, is people would bail last minute, or they just would be like, why would I want to do that? It sounds horrible. Whatever it is, you're going to find friendships that are also excited to do your crazy ideas or do the thing you're excited about. And there is a lot of healing that's going to occur. And I think some of it's going to happen before you find this new friend group, but there's also a lot of healing that's going to happen once you find a friend that is supportive. You're going to be like, wow, I didn't know friendship could be like this. Like there's so much green, so much green. So there's a lot of healing stuff coming through for this pile. Yeah. And having confidence. Let's just remember that one. Having confidence that people are going to love you. The people who are aligned with you are going to love you. And why waste time on people who aren't aligned with you and, you know, you're just not their person? Yeah. And remember to journal, to get out and release some of that extra emotion, and don't keep those pages around. Burn them, like we were saying, rip them up, put them through a shredder, recycle them. But I don't know. I feel like it's better to do something like even just like scribble and exit out or something. Do something to physically release it. And you don't need to keep rereading it. Someone here is doing that. I think you journal a lot and then you keep it and you reread it, and then it puts you back in that emotional state. You want to release it. That's why you're writing it down. You're not writing it down to get yourself worked up about it again. And focus on what you are good at. You're so gifted at something here and you're not sharing it with people. And it's a shame. It's kind of what your angels are saying. Like it's a shame that other people don't experience these gifts and talents you have. And I think it is like it's saying fear or lack of confidence that you haven't shared them, but there's so many people out there who would enjoy them. So just know that, and maybe that will help you consider sharing them with someone, even just one person. Yeah. Okay. I actually think that's all I have for this pile. I'm trying to think if I could pull any last minute cards for you, but I think this is it. So I wish you the best of luck with your next chapter, and I really feel like it's gonna be amazing to have friends that are so supportive and loving and on the same page as you. You're gonna have a lot of fun times coming through. And then the other thing I just want to mention is there will be a healing at the end of this if you want to receive it, and it's gonna probably be focused on the heart chakra and relationships, and just really trying to help anyone who've been injured or wounded in their relationships. Because I mean, I even chose 2 love crystals. I just feel like I've got to work on that. So if you want to receive that, that'll be at the end of this whole card reading. And if you enjoy these card readings, I would so appreciate if you left a like or a comment. It really helps this channel get more views, or even the one video get more views. It's kind of insane. So if you feel okay doing that, I would so appreciate it. Okay, that's all I have to say here. You guys have a wonderful day, and maybe I'll catch you around. Hello, pile 2. The cats are very active in these card readings, so... Oh, and I was gonna say, they keep putting their butts in them. Okay, so it's a theme today. Maybe it's supposed to be like looking back. Or putting the things behind you or something. I don't know, but a lot of cat butts. Yeah, okay, let's get into your card reading. Okay, so we have Spiritual Teacher, Dietary Change, Emotional Healing, Affirmations. Dietary change comes up a lot when there is emotional healing. So just know that's just something we gotta change to make things easier on our body as it's processing other things. We have empowerment. There. We have personal power. Wow, you have empowerment and personal power. So this is a pretty big theme for you, pile 2. It's coming up twice. We have Eagle Totem. We have Red, Emotions, Healing, Devotion. We have Career Transitions. We have Zedekeel Purple. We also have Energy Healing and Don't Compromise. So it is interesting that you have 3 cards specifically saying healing on them. So I'm just going to move everything over one more. Okay, let's just reshift everything a little bit more. Okay, pile 2. So this is interesting because this doesn't seem to focus on any one relationship. So I would say it's not focusing specifically on friendship, family, or coworkers, friends, loved ones. This is like a overall relationships with everyone change. So even when I see Spiritual Teacher, when I saw that right away, I was thinking you probably had some pretty tough, rough, or I want to say very masculine energy, like the aggressive masculine energy teachers, and could literally be spiritual teachers or just teachers in general. And there is a life lesson here about you in future teaching others with a gentleness and a nurturingness. And I almost feel like you'll meet people where they're at instead of trying to tower above them and show your superiority or dominance. So there is a lot with empowerment and personal power. There's a lot here about saying it's time for you to step out, like career transition. I even think this is just life transition and healing, energy healing, emotional healing, heart healing, receiving healing, emotional healing. Oh gosh, there's so much going on here. Don't compromise. And it's all coming down to this point where it's saying your next chapter is you not compromising. It's not letting yourself be put down. It's not putting yourself in a position where you can be put down or being surrounded by teachers, friends, co-workers, spouses, partners. That's also being included in this that puts you down. Yeah. This is like a whole redo on what you are currently experiencing in your relationships. So the affirmations card is really important as well because this is talking about you need to deprogram your old programs. Somewhere in your subconscious, I'm so sorry. I doubt, I don't know if this is general or specific, but there's definitely someone here who still says, I'm dumb or I'm so stupid. Why did I do that? Oh, I can never figure it out. This, like, you're affirming these horrible things about yourself. and you're not even realizing that there are horrible things to say about yourself, because other people say worse things or have said. I think that's a big one. Other people have said even worse things, crueler things to you, that you are justifying saying still shitty things to yourself, but they're just not as shitty as what other people are saying. Excuse my language, but it's just like, oh, it's not okay. But you don't even realize it, which is kind of the most unfortunate part. Or you can kind of be like, oh, I know I probably shouldn't call myself stupid, or call myself slow, or that I always am behind, like whatever it is, you need to release that wording. You don't want to keep reiterating that story. Do you want to feel that way? No. So stop telling yourself you are that way, because you are not. You're just repeating what other people who have not treated you fairly have said to you. So there's a really big thing here, though. I don't think all of you see that you have teachers in your life that are not speaking to you in a way that is going to empower you or teach you how to grow or become stronger in your personal power. People here might have a mentor or a teacher, just a role model, someone that they're looking up to, whether it's an actual spiritual teacher, or if it's someone like, it could be like a professor, it could be someone at your job that's just a little higher up and who's supposed to be mentoring you, and is saying like their verbiage and the way they are talking, they have a fear of the students outshining or outgrowing the teacher. So how they're doing it, that fear is coming out and playing, is they will not allow you to grow, and they're not nurturing your own personal power or your own empowerment. So a really good first step for this pile, I believe, for changing your overall relationships in general, is a complete transition. If it is someone you're paying to mentor you or teach you, I would switch mentors or teachers. And that can be really hard. I think it's going to be really hard, because the problem is this teacher or mentor, whoever this person is that someone is looking up to, has made you feel like you need them. And they have used verbiage to sort of make them seem like a key role in your development. I do think it's actually more spiritual. I keep seeing a lot of purple around this, so I do think it's like they're literally saying they're the spiritual teacher. But once, or if you do move forward with this, because you always have to follow what feels true to you and right for you, like I said, the lesson to take out from this is you will not make this same mistake. You will not let your fear of a student outgrowing you or being more successful than you stop you from being an amazing teacher yourself. And I mean, ultimately, if we want this world to get better and more beautiful and more loving, we want the people who are coming, like, what's the word, preceding us. We want our students to outshine us. We want them to even think of new ways we haven't even thought of. Because if they're doing that, then that means we take the whole community a few steps up. Oh, there's Charlie. Like, it's so funny. It's such a funny fear, like such a scarcity mindset. And there's no need to be scarcity. There's so many people out there, and there's so many people who need help, and there's more than enough clients for everyone. There's more than enough anything for everyone. And to come from that fear place that you need to keep people underneath you, or I know it, sorry, they're giving me an example, like, how would you know if your teacher isn't empowering you? If you come to them and they're your teacher or your mentor with a problem, and you're asking them, how can I clear this for myself in future? Because you keep coming with the same problem, and they still haven't given you tools, or an adequate amount of tools or explanations on how to clear it yourself, on how to deal with this problem yourself, then that is a really good sign that this is not a very good teacher. That's a practitioner. Because a teacher will teach you how to do it. A practitioner will just clear it for you. But to be honest, we're even moving into a different era where practitioners give you the tools as well. So that's not even a great example, because even in my own practice, I do not believe a good practitioner will hide all the tools. I want to give them to people because like I said, there's billions of people out there. I don't need to get a client to come back to me multiple times. That's such an old school way of thinking. It's even like card readings. They used to try to teach people that you would need to come back and I would have to read your cards to clear something. And they put fear into things. So that's so disempowering. We don't need that. We don't need to disempower others to be successful, to be abundant. And I think you're just surrounded by a mentor, teacher, like even your friendships, like they all feel like they need to control because they're fearful and in a scarcity mindset. So this tells me that you've hung around or you've been in a very low vibration with other people. And it doesn't mean necessarily that you're a low vibration, but they have been. Because to be in a scarcity mindset is to be in a very low vibrational state. It's scared, it's fearful. They use very manipulative tactics to get what they want. I feel like I'm really ranting about this, but to be honest, I feel like some of you find yourself asking others, why is this happening? And you almost need it to be told to you straight because other people are trying to say it in a nice way, but you are not hearing it. You're just sort of dismissing it, or you're kind of forgetting about it or telling yourself that it can't be true. But if you want to level up, I feel like that's a big thing. Like your next chapter is you want to ascend to the next thing. Ascending. You literally have to lift your vibration because you are stuck in a very low vibration with all these people around you in your life. So how do you get away from these people who are controlling, who are in a scarcity mindset, who are disempowering, who are bullies, who are toxic, who are not coming from a great loving place? You have to release this way. A lot of emotional healing, right? A lot of changing how you feel and what you think you're worthy of receiving. Energy healing, there's so much. There's just like overall healing so that you can ascend. There's a lot of different things you can do. So I think that's another thing here is like you feel like there's one thing specifically you have to do. Forget that. You've probably tried that thing again and again and you still find yourself here. So it's funny. They're saying you do a lot of things again and again. I don't know if you realize that your solution is to do the same thing. And if it's with the wrong person, like the wrong teacher, the wrong practitioner, then you're just going to find yourself back to where you are. So change something, create change, go to new people, find someone who is successful. Ooh, this is a really good point. Find someone who you look up to. They might not be a really good friend. There's just someone that you are like, I've seen they got out of this cycle. I want their guidance. What did they do? And I would say if you're serious about it, just try their advice. Always have to double check that it feels good to you. If it does feel good, you're just scared to let go of what you know, this comfort, this lower vibration, then that's a different kind of uncomfortability. Right? And they keep saying if you're worried about prices or money or doing something different, they're saying you've probably spent a lot of money on like a lot of small amounts of money on this other way and it keeps not working. And they do say you're like doing the same thing again and again. Although it seems different to you, if you really look at it on a more broad scale, you are repeating the same actions. You're seeing the same people, you're getting the same result. And really, that is the definition of insanity. It makes you feel crazy. If you feel like you don't know what to do and you're running around in circles, it's because you kind of are, and it's exhausting. And it really, like they keep saying, like you feel like you're just going crazy sometimes. And it's that energy because you keep going to the same person with not the same problem. If you're really looking at it detailed, it's a different problem, but it's the same thing. You need something, the same general scenario needs to be fixed or figured out, and they're not giving you any new tools. So you just they just see you keep chasing your tail. It's not fun to do that. So anyways, that was a really long rant, I felt. And I'm going to dive more into the cards, but yeah, I actually feel like that whole rant did sum up a lot of the cards. So, okay, so dietary change. First steps of action you can take. I feel like you guys that's the other thing too. Don't get caught up so much in the details. There isn't just one simple thing to do and then that will change everything. You have to change your perspective. You have to change what you're willing to compromise for. Don't compromise for it is what they're essentially saying. Transition. Raise your standards. Those are the big things. So dietary change is how you can support your body, how you can feel better, how you can feel a little higher vibration. That will be good for those of you who are just well, I can't get away from these people right away because I feel like you might be a little nervous to cut ties with this many people because this is an old pattern. Dietary change will help you feel a little lighter, but like I said, this is just a supporting thing to do for your body. This isn't the end all solution. But if you feel better physically, you're more likely to feel better in your body and stronger in your own self, in your own self-confidence and how you're feeling. Emotional healing. As your heart heals of old emotional pain, you receive new blessings and love. Emotional healing, devotion, integration, holistic well-being, thriving, vibrant. Those are all on the 3 healing cards you got for emotional healing, energy healing, and I would say this is like healing like the wounding from childhood, the wounding from all these past relationships, clearing that old junk out. It's really big to do that emotional healing. I'm trying to ask what you can do because I feel like you think you keep trying to do it, but you're not quite doing it. What is going on here? You know what? If some of you are open to this, I would even suggest something like a life coach. Not a therapist. You don't need talk therapy. You want someone who hears your situation and gives you strategies to get out of it now. So they're empathetic, they're compassionate, they don't put you down, but they give you real actions to take. Because I think the problem is you're kind of stuck on like, how do I get rid of this pain? And then just staying stuck there. You need action steps as well as the healing process. So I think that could be really helpful. If you can't afford that, then try listening to podcasts that give you free tools. There's amazing resources out there who can give you the same advice. So I always usually suggest Christine Hassler because she has, I think, like 600 videos and she's an amazing life coach. And you can find a call where someone has a similar situation as you. Like, it'd be very hard not to come across that on the amount of content she's put out there. She is a life coach and she does it in a beautiful way and not a way that puts you down or disempowers you. That is the key. So that might even be a great place to start because I think with this pile, you might go looking for a life coach, but because you have this habit of attracting in people who like to be the dominant one in the relationship, who kind of is like, I know everything, I am in control, maybe don't seek someone out just yet, because I think you need to see what an empowering person or practitioner feels like and how you feel after. So I would really strongly recommend Christine Hassler's podcast, and you might find one that resonates more, but she's a really good example of empowering individuals and allowing them to heal from their wounds. So it's super cool. She talks a lot about this kind of dynamics, having friends who are controlling, scarcity kind of mindset where people can't let you go, so then control you. And I really feel like that is a huge theme in all your relationships, which understandably is why you have a hard time saying nice things about yourself. Because I really think one of the tactics they used was putting you down to feel almost like a good way to put it is almost so that you wouldn't leave, so that you would need them. Like it's not great. It's not great and would make you feel horrible. So here it says, I encourage you to be the master of your destiny and assert yourself and shine your power now. So here we go. Here's another one. Like this card, the woman is a peacock. Like she's like, don't be afraid to show yourself off. Don't be afraid to be confident. Like I almost wonder if you don't like wearing too bright of colors. Okay, sorry, my battery died. So I was just in the midst of trying to say, you might be someone who likes to dress in very neutral colors and very simple clothes. And I almost feel like it's saying like, be bold, wear something vibrant, something eye-catchy, and don't be afraid to shine. You deserve to shine. You deserve to be noticed. You deserve to be complimented. Oh, that's another one. I wonder if another thing this pile might struggle with, and I think it could be because maybe you don't get a lot of compliments that are very sincere, is if someone gives you a compliment, make sure you just say thank you. I know that's going to be really hard for somebody in this pile to just say thank you. You don't need to say, oh, thanks, but blah, blah, blah. Thanks, but I don't know if it looks good. Thanks, but like just try. Challenge for this file is those small ways you can try to change is just saying thank you and accepting that compliment, that nice thing said to you. You deserve to have compliments and nice things said to you. Okay, that's really important. And then the energy healing, I actually see this as being your own hands. So a lot of you could be actually Reiki attuned or some sort of energy healing attuned. And I would just see like putting your hands on your heart and on your solar plexus and sending it love. And just saying like, I love you. I love you. You deserve love. I love you. You deserve love. And I'm sorry. And I think that's going to be really powerful. And you just keep saying it. You can say it randomly throughout the day. Like you can wake up before you go to bed. Just put your hands there, because a really big thing is if you weren't conditioned to feel like it was okay to love yourself or value yourself, and you want to break that. You want to break that, because once you realize that you deserve love, and you even are sort of saying like, I'm sorry, like to yourself, like, I'm sorry you've been hurt. I'm sorry I haven't said this to you before. I'm sorry that person did this. Like, I'm so sorry. And you're saying it as like an own healing tool for yourself. So some of you might actually just want to go get Reiki, but I feel like the key thing is changing how you have talked to yourself and have treated yourself, and intentionally putting your hands on your heart and your solar plexus and saying, I love you, you deserve love, and I'm sorry, feels like one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. Don't compromise. This one probably explains itself pretty clearly. Boundaries, assertiveness, courage, unwavering. It goes to say, like, it's not easy to set boundaries when you're not used to it. It's not easy to stand up for yourself when you never have felt like you were allowed to. It's not easy to be courageous when you've never felt like you could do this. But boundaries are so important. Because like I said, how do you level up? How do you get into this next chapter of like more happy and beautiful relationships? You've got to create that change. You got to change your standards for how people treat you, and your standards for what amount of shit you're going to take from people. And I know that can sound kind of bad, but it's just saying, don't compromise. Don't decide you're going to change and then go, all right, maybe it's okay if I see them this one more time. Don't do that to yourself, because every time you do that, that breaks down everything you've worked so hard to change, to rebuild. All those affirmations you're saying about wonderful things about yourself and identifying with a new, more powerful version of yourself gets beaten down by these people who are now picking on you or telling you you're not good enough in a slightly manipulated way that doesn't directly say it, that just makes your brain get a little more confused. You're not doing yourself any favors by wavering on your boundaries. So it is saying it's not going to be easy, but you are so ready for this next chapter, this new way of living, that you're ready to not keep compromising on it and keep putting yourself back in those situations. So just remember that. Be strong. And the wings here, they're gold. If you're drawn to colors, like that just even says you're protected. If you can find the courage to set boundaries, to be assertive, to not waver, you are protected. It's just that old programming that is battling that so hard. That old programming that's trying to make you feel guilty or shameful for not giving in, or if they made you feel bad. But the problem is, if someone's making you feel guilty for not seeing them, that is a horrible friend or whatever they are, because like that's not a loving relationship, to make someone feel guilty for not doing something, right? That sounds manipulative and controlling and not supportive and understanding. So there's like another red flag for you all, but I keep getting that you might not actually know all the red flags. So that's where I'm coming back to. It could really be of benefit to check out that Christine Hassler podcast. Just scroll through. Maybe if you believe in the angelics, just ask the angels to pop up the right episode for you. And like I said, she has a ton, so just scroll, and then stop and see what you land on, because she's so good at teaching you to recognize disempowerment, or you can even search for toxic relationships, and she'll probably have several episodes on it, and you can just figure it out from there. I think it's called On With It and Over With It. On With It, Over It, or something like that. Christine Hassler. But she's pretty well known, so if you just Google Christine Hassler podcast, it should pop up. Okay, purple, I actually see this as you have the choice. Like, what direction do you want to go in? What do you want for yourself? You can choose. And I even see, like, you could have the world if you wanted it. You could have any experience you want in the world. You could do anything you want in the world. Or you can keep doing this circle again and again, finding yourself in the same situation. It's up to you. You have free will. It's totally up to you. But you might have to get a little uncomfortable to get out of this stuck, stagnant energy. Yeah, if you want change, you have to get a little uncomfortable at the start. That's the funny thing. It's not always like that, because the thing that makes it uncomfortable is all our old programming and all our old limiting beliefs are trying to keep us there. And then in the future, once you've released this, it becomes easier and easier to just have nicer and more fun and beautiful relationships, because we don't have all this programming telling us that it's wrong. So it does get easier in the future, but the first, like, I don't know if you want to say level up or ascension, or the first shift and growth out of these sort of toxic relationships is the hardest, because our programming doesn't like that we're suddenly trying to change something. It's had this for so long, it knows this type of relationship, it knows this type of dynamic, that even though it doesn't feel good, it's so familiar, it wants to hang on to it. And it has like a fight in it, or resistance, sort of like a kid, right? Like a kid might be in a super abusive home, and they will try everything they can to stay in that home. And then if someone comes in and removes them, like a social worker comes in and removes them, the kid is traumatized from losing its security, what it knew. Even if the next family is so loving and kind and offer everything they knew, it's like, it's scary to them, because that family system is what they knew and what they're comfortable with. They knew the dangers of it. They understood how to survive in it. And that is what your old programming is doing in this situation. So Eagle Totem is just, to me, is such like, have a warrior spirit during this phase. See the higher perspective. Keep your eye on the prize sort of talk here, where it's saying like, see this, see everything that's happening, and ask yourself, do you want to keep experiencing this? If yes, like, that's up to you. Like, honestly know what you want and what you're willing to do to get out of these types of dynamics in relationship. And just like it says, every time you find yourself getting sucked back in, try to embody this sort of eagle energy of rising above and widening your perspective, and seeing how it might be uncomfortable in this moment, but in the long run, you could have like years, decades more in a more harmonious, abundant, beautiful, loving relationship. And isn't that worth it? A little bit of discomfort, even a year discomfort in the long run, is way better than 30 more years, 40, 50, 60 more years of feeling like this in your relationships. But like I said, that's my opinion, and I can't put that on you. So you have to decide that for yourself. You have to want it for yourself. And even here it's saying like transitions, like change, excitement, opportunity, advancements. There's so much beautiful things that come after this, that sometimes people get too stuck on like, oh, it hurts right now. But remember what you're doing it for, why you want to do this for yourself. Excitement and opportunity, advancement and growth. And I just see like coming out of the shadows and the darkness and the gunk and the heaviness and the like programming and the just not funness, and going into this lightness, this, the world's beautiful, the world's my oyster, like things are wonderful. That's the energy you can step into. So, all right, I think this is all I have for this pile. So like I said, take it or leave it. You do have a choice. Yeah, lots of choices here. I am going to do a Reiki healing at the end of this whole card reading if you would like to receive it. It is going to be centered around your own love for yourself, compassion for yourself, relationships, the heart chakra, receiving. It's felt so much about the heart energy in this card reading. I was so drawn to put 2 heart crystals here. Yeah, okay, well, I just wish you the best of luck, and I feel like you have some reflection to be doing, so I'll leave you with that. You have a good day. Remember, don't compromise on what you want. Hello, pile 2. So I just realized I swapped pile 2 and 3 by accident. I don't know why. So this is actually the pile 2. The other one was actually pile 3 that I just read. So here we go. Let's see what you got here. We have time to go. We have divine magic. Focus on your health. Everything's okay. Wow, and I have to just point out you have 41, 24, and 444. Lots of 4s here, so that might be a number you want to look up. I usually associate it with support systems. I don't know why. I know a triangle. I just think of pyramids, I guess. I know neither one of those things have 4 points, but I just think of that when I see 4s. I know it's really weird, but yeah, so I just think very supportive energy coming in. I send you loving signs through nature. I wish I had told you more often how much I love you. I was met by so many loving people. Although you may not understand it now, everything happens for a reason. If I had only known then what I know now, I would have lived differently. Sorry, I'm just gonna maybe put this one up here, shuffle these over, and then we have quite a few more cards here. We have codependency, soulmate, stay optimistic about your love life, flirt, and romantic feelings. Okay, you actually have more cards than any other pile, so hang on here. Can you see them all? I think you can pretty much see them. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, so pile 2. This one's really interesting because there's a little bit of a cross in energy here. So that just tells me general card reading. So there's a couple different major energies coming through. So the first one is, I think some of you might have lost a love connection, but lost as in they literally passed away. And it does say soulmate, and I am getting that they were here to teach you a lot. They're not your only soulmate. That's very clear. You do have others, but they did play a very significant role for you. But then the cross energy, that's kind of very different. So I always wonder why these 2 different energies show up in one pile. Is someone is calling in a soulmate, and you haven't ever met them yet, I don't think. I think it's someone you don't even know, but you're calling them in. Actually, I should correct that. It's almost like you've met their soul energy, but you haven't met them in the physical world. I don't even think you've met them on online dating site. Like literally, you just feel their energy, their soul energy is out there. So how am I going to do this card reading so that both piles make sense, or both different energies make sense? Okay, so you know what? We're going to start with that energy of you haven't ever met them, because I think there's a few more messages there. And then if you are the person or people who have chosen this pile and it is the soulmate that you have lost, you know what? Actually, some of you might feel called to watch all of this. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I will put like a little timestamp for that second energy of you've lost a loved one that felt like a soulmate energy. Okay, but I'm going to start with the other one because it's a stronger energy. So I just feel like the majority here, the majority of the general people watching this are the people who are trying to manifest in someone they haven't even met yet, but they've met their soul energy of the person they are trying to call in. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so I'm starting now with that one. So yeah, there's a lot of things here. Let me just narrow it in. Man, this energy is so confusing. It's like the other person's like, no, I want that reading first. We're gonna put in a timestamp, okay? Okay, let's start with this one over here. The focus on your health thing. And divine magic. So it's very interesting. What can you do right now while you are calling in this soulmate energy? The classic answer, I'm sure you've heard this before, is focusing on yourself, on what makes you joyful. So it's not saying focusing on running and going to the gym and pumping weights. I feel like people always have that as a misunderstanding. It doesn't help that this woman is running, but I literally see it's like she's happy. She's doing her. She's drinking her water. She's listening to some great music that brings her joy, and she's out in nature. She's getting outside. She's leaving her house. That's what I want you to see in this card. Not that she's running, just that she's enjoying herself and she's happy by herself, just being who she is. Lots of confidence coming off this woman, lots of feeling supported by her other relationships, by the other things in her life, feeling good where she's at. That's what you can focus on right now while you're calling in this person. I think from across the seas, across the world. Some of you it's just across your country. But I do think this person literally does have to move to come into your area for you to meet them. But it's going to happen. Like the fact that it says divine timing, divine magic, just tells me that you don't really have to do anything to try to meet them. When you're both aligned and ready, you will. You will. The fact that I think most of you are interacting with their soul energy tells me that you're ready for sure going to meet this person. Yeah, and it's magic. Wishes, goals, dreams, accomplishments. So that's just even amazing. The other thing it's talking about is focusing on that. What you want to accomplish in life, things you want to do. So it's so funny. I keep thinking of karaoke. Maybe some of you love karaoke and you want to do karaoke night with your friends, want to be silly with your friends. This is a great time to just focus on friendships and the love you have for them, because you've got the time. Like, it is wonderful when you don't have to split it up with a partner. And people don't always remember that until they get in a partnership, and then they wish they prioritized the time they had alone with their friendships. I feel like this little heart is telling me a lot about personal healing, letting go, releasing old things so that you can be aligned for a higher relationship that is more gratifying. Sorry, I got really distracted there. My cat just out of nowhere found a pumpkin seed and started putting it in her mouth and realized she didn't like pumpkin, and then she'd play with it and bat it around, and then she'd put that seed in her mouth again, and then she wouldn't eat it. So I even wonder if it's saying, like, right now you're planting seeds, you're seeing what you do like, what you don't like, really find out who you are. Because when I see this codependency thing, addictions are affecting your romantic life. To me, it just tells me that in previous relationships, you might have found yourself in a more codependent role in that relationship. So you might have put too much importance on the relationship, what that other person wanted, how you could be the most accommodating might be the right word of the relationship. Like, you might have prioritized it before everything, including your own self-care, your own health, your own like personal independent joy. And saying now is a great time to grow out of that and know that you can have a very great relationship where you still get to spend time with your friends, get to prioritize your self-care, because in the end that makes the whole relationship healthier, and it puts less pressure on the actual relationship to be your everything, and to have nothing else supporting you is really tricky on that partner even. So I feel like there's a little message about working out this codependency. And a lot of people do have that in a relationship. I'm sure most of you have heard and seen and experienced relationships with friends where once they start dating someone, it's like they disappear, and then you get a text message from them a month later, 6 months later, maybe it's even a year later, and they're like, hey, how are you doing? It's been a while. And then like the next text is like, oh, I broke up with this person. And then you're like, oh, that's why you're back. That's why you've come back to the world. So it's even like saying that sort of habit you're releasing and you're outgrowing in this next soulmate relationship. It's going to be they're not going to be your only thing in the world. You're going to have all these other wonderful things that make you happy and fulfilled. And they just keep really talking about how that's going to make so much less pressure on the relationship. And yeah, just feels good. Feels so good. Stay optimistic about your love life. So I know it can be really, really hard when you've been waiting a while for a soulmate, for the person that is your person. And they're saying, just stay optimistic about it, because like they're saying, you focusing on this other stuff, releasing these old wounds and habits is what's going to bring in this wonderful romantic partnership, this very supportive one. But like I said, it's going to be even better because you feel like you're going to have friends still that you see and prioritize, and your own needs that get prioritized. And this other soulmate is also going to do that. So it's almost like saying you need to feel okay about doing that, because this other person's going to want to do that. And then it will just be so healthy for their whole relationship. And no one will be bitter about the other one about prioritizing their own needs and self-care, because both understand the importance of that. And then this time to go card, I love this transformation, completion, confirmation, and exit. Some of you might literally be traveling somewhere or like moving places, but I actually think the big thing here is just saying like you're packing up your old stuff, your old way of being, and you're getting rid of that. You're literally just letting it go, and you're becoming this new, more, I don't know, what's the word? Complete, I think is the word, complete self. You're really getting to know who you are and what you love to do. Feels very independent. Feel like you're really getting your independence back, or I don't know, or maybe it's the first time you've had it. And then I like this flirt and romantic feeling cards, because okay, sorry about that, pile 2. My memory card failed or got too full. I don't know when it happened, but I'll just kind of start talking where I think it might have stopped. Okay, so the other thing I was thinking too, so if I did stop around me saying flirting and not being afraid to like pursue just simple romantic relationships, ones that maybe you don't see going on and leading to marriage, just people you're really drawn to who are passionate about things that you find interesting and exciting. Like, don't be afraid to explore those relationships and just experience things. The other thing too, though, is it's talking about a seriousness in life. Don't be afraid to flirt with life. Like, don't be afraid to be a little silly with it, to not be so serious. There's definitely also a message around that. Yeah, and then I do like this. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. I even see that in just trying new things and doing new activities, meeting new people. Like, it doesn't have to be romantic. It's just having a little fun in life, not being too serious about everything, because there is a lot of stuff that you're doing to have a more serious relationship, but it's just that reminder that joy is the purpose of life. Experience is the purpose of life. What, like any experience you have, is just why you're even here. Yeah. Okay. Everything's okay. This is so funny. This is where I literally see like your soulmates coming in the mail. Like, it's like they're coming from a distant, faraway place, and they're gonna come to you. I think wherever you end up being is where they're gonna also end up being. So maybe you do end up moving, but they're also gonna move there, or perhaps you are, yeah, maybe you stay exactly where you are, but you start moving in different circles, start doing new exciting things. Because I think there's something there about a self-discovery piece, and you discovering the new you is going to be one of these places you eventually meet the soulmate at. And I think this is just confirmations for you from their soul. Like, I send you loving signs through nature. This felt so clear for those of you who have connected or feel like you've connected with this soulmate, even though you've never met them. So like, I see little butterfly, and I see like the 2 dandelions, and just knowing that they are like there, and like they're trying to comfort you and validate you that you are going to work out. And then I know this says, I wish I had told you more often how much I love you, but I feel like it's like when you connect with the soul energy of the soulmate, you feel this extreme intense love from them. And this is just confirming that and affirming that is their love for you, a soul love for you. And then if I had known then what I know now, I think this is also talking about their own trauma that they're working through to meet up with you and be that aligned person for you. And there's even like things where, okay, so some of you might be like an old love connection or crush, maybe. And it's almost like saying like, you could have had this relationship a long time ago if this person had been ready for it, but they weren't. They didn't see things the same way. So a few different energies coming through for this reading. It's kind of like all over the place, but general card reading, I guess. Everyone has to say their piece. Although you may not understand it now, everything happens for a reason. And this is definitely kind of catered to the people where you might have been like a childhood crush or something like that, or friendship, and it's saying like you're there's a reason why you're not gonna be together until you're older. There was a piece or a lesson, things that had to happen. Now things are gonna click. Literally, I keep saying the words, things are gonna click. I was met by so many loving people. So yeah. Okay, so interesting. This is like weird information that's coming in towards the end of this, but these three feel so connected in the sense that this love crush connection, childhood crush, childhood friend, whatever it is, might have left and gone traveling. And they were even saying like it was so important for their own growth. Like they met so many people who helped them grow and turn them into the person they are now. They kind of did it for love and connections. And it was worth it for them, and they needed that element in their life. They needed that experience to be the person they are now. Definitely feel like they traveled though between these two cards, and they are saying that they've come back with a new perspective and a new wisdom to appreciate maybe it was even you or the relationships in general, and just to really, I don't know, almost as like maybe they were too party and too fleeting, and now this person is more stable and ready to be a more of a I won't say like a structure, no. A supportive, I don't know, like a supportive person for someone. Keep getting like structure, stable, that's the word I was looking for. A stable person in a relationship. Okay. I think that's all I have for this portion. I'm just going to immediately jump into for those who might have lost a loved one. So if you've been watching this whole time, I do feel like this could apply to you about your future soulmate, your next soulmate. But if you lost a soulmate, one that you loved, one that was more of a romantic partnership, there is a lot of overlapping messages. So like sending you loving signs through nature. I really feel like this is coming from them wanting to know that they're still with you and support you as long as they need. It is in a different way. And I do even think that the way you would see them is through when you see a dandelion, you would think of them. And I know there's a lot of dandelions in the world, so you might keep thinking about them a lot, or butterflies too. It just feels like they're saying like key signs are important. And these two signs feel very important for you. I wish I had told you more often how much I love you. That one feels very direct and clear about just wishing that they would have voiced how much they cared about you. They might not ever had said I love you or how much they care about you, but now that they are not on this realm, they wish that you could have known without a doubt. Not just know because you feel like you know, but to have verbalized and said it to you would have been better, I think, is what they're saying. Like what they wish, that's like what they could have changed. They wish they would have done that. Although you may not understand it now, everything's happened for a reason. I think this is where it's tricky, where you don't understand why they had to pass away, but they're saying like there's a huge lesson this soulmate taught you. Huge lesson. And they weren't meant to be your forever connection. And I don't want to say that because you're like destined to meet someone else who's gonna grow you in such a different way. And this relationship, although it feels like it probably could have gone on forever, on some level, their soul and your soul wanted you to grow in a way that this other relationship is going to teach you. and this other relationship was going to teach you is so important. And then if I had only known then what I know now, I would have lived differently. This makes me think this person passed away quite young. Just on the wording of that, it's almost like they didn't have enough time here on earth to grow in their wisdom and to really, yeah, like learn from their experiences, have time to gain the wisdom and growth from hardships, mistakes, regrets, because it just feels like it ended too soon. And this is almost coming through for you because it's almost like saying they don't want you to be in fear of going out there. And if you guys didn't watch this reading all the way through, which is totally fine, and I was talking a little about not being so serious about life. Like this flirt card and the romantic card is actually all talking about don't be too serious and follow what is catching your attention. It doesn't have to be a love interest. It can literally be just a hobby, an interest, something that just excites you. If you've never traveled and you've always been like, darn, I wish I can, go and travel. Like, just don't get stuck in where you are right now. And this is really what this person is saying. Like, don't, like, they wish they would have gone and done more. And don't get me wrong, this is coming very much from the human soul and not like their whole higher self, because the higher self understands why they chose the life they did, but the human self is like, I don't know why I didn't go out and do more. And that is kind of like the wisdom they're sharing with you. Go out there and figure out who you are, and do that by finding out what experiences you love, what things get you excited. Find out new things about yourself that you didn't even know. Kind of corny, but like very like that's pretty much what life is. Like the very most clear truths are the most corny ones because we don't understand how deep that is until we've really learned it. And then this card here, you also want to really talk about. So it says, I was met by so many loving people. And I always feel like sometimes people, this guy is talking about in life. In life, they met a lot of really loving people and really supporting people. And that was really great. I do feel like I was like, they're definitely not alone in the afterlife either. Don't worry about that. But they are talking about how their life was full of a lot of loving, very supportive people. Enough that it made them feel loved. They see love in their time on earth, and it was great. Yeah, I think that's really important. I don't know this, but I'll continue just in case you didn't watch all this. So there is still similar messages as for the first half of this card reading. There is another soulmate out there for you, and the Stay Optimistic card is really just talking about it's hard to lose someone. It's hard to lose someone who is young. But just remember that you are still here and there's so much more for you to experience. And it doesn't mean forgetting about them, but it means not letting yourself get sucked in to focusing only on that loss, only on the past, and know that there still is beautiful things in your future. That's really what it is. Like the Time to Go card really just tells me like beauty coming forward, beauty coming in. And the rainbow is just all about healing and discovering yourself and finding out just what it is that you love, what else is out there in the world, what you wish to experience, the magic of life. And then the focus on your health is kind of like a good thing to say, like if you're going through grief still or depression or just lower emotions, just what you can do to support yourself is focus on your health, just the very basics, like eating foods that make you feel good, don't make you feel any heavier or any grosser, going for a walk, getting out of the house, that's a big one. It doesn't mean physical exercise is necessary, just getting out of the house. Some form of gentle movement is fine, maybe going to a gentle yoga class, going through a park with a friend. I do feel like meeting up with your friends is important here to like, it's just like she's so happy and she's thinking about other things and not just getting stuck in her thoughts about what no longer is, what she no longer has. So it's just like a reminder to sometimes be okay with letting yourself be distracted by something in the present moment. And I don't mean that by watching TV because that doesn't feel good, right? Not all the time. If we do it too much, it can feel kind of gross. But I feel like seeing your friends and seeing them in a way where you're not drinking, you're not sort of suppressing, you're just really being fully present. You're having a one-on-one conversation, you're going for a walk outside, you're just catching up. That seems like really good sort of shifts for you. Distractions is maybe the word I would use. Yeah. And just that everything's okay. Reassurance, support, guidance, overseen. Just saying, I even think for you, if it's this past over loved one, like finds ways to give you little messages and just trust that those are little messages for you. They are coming from them. Yeah, and the codependency card, I really see this for you as more of a grief card, like getting lost in the grief. Like she's almost zoned out and she's not really even there. Like nobody's home is sort of the way you would say, and just saying like trying to catch yourself and focus on those basic needs when you catch yourself falling into that habit or that rut. Okay, I'm just trying to see if there's any other messages for you, but I think that is it. It's a little short and sweet for this half, but sometimes there's something really important for us to hear even in the shorter messages. So I just want to let you know that I am going to do a Reiki healing for the collective at the end. If you'd like to receive it, we're focusing on basically love, the heart chakra energy, clearing out blocks in the heart center and the love center. So it's focusing on self-love, relationships, compassion for self and others, just all that stuff. So if you'd like to receive that, that will be at the end of this card reading. And I just hope you have a wonderful day. Hello, everyone. So welcome to the healing portion of this card reading. As I said in the end of the card readings, if you watched till then, this one is focused on the heart energy. So we're really focusing on your heart energies. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. I want to focus on your ability to receive love and to have compassion and self-love for yourself. That's what my main focus is. Just because I feel like there was a lot of wounding around that, or old healing to do around that. So that is what we're going to focus on, and it's going to be about 10 minutes long. So I'm going to be quiet, and I'm just going to get started. So please affirm or say yes if you want to receive this, and just trust that Reiki will find you however you need it. All in your highest good, in love and light. Okay, everyone. Feel like that felt like enough time. So I want you to come back to the present if you felt like you went away somewhere. And just make sure you can really feel, your feet on the ground or your body on the chair or on whatever you're sitting on. And really come back into the present grounded moment. And I hope you feel a little bit lighter now, a little clearer. You'll have to let me know. Anyways, thanks for staying for the healing portion of this, and I'll catch you in another video.